The world of video games is in a very interesting place right now. 2020 had not only some of the most buggy releases of all time, via Avengers, Cyberpunk 2077, and more, but also set the game industry back a bit due to the delays in terms of game releases. Fast forward to 2021, and while there have been some big games out there like Monster Hunter Rise, Bravely Default 2, and the recent Resident Evil Village, there are many games out there from this year that are questionable at best. So allow us to show you the worst games of 2021 so far. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 5. RBI Baseball 21. RBI Baseball 21 is one of the few licensed baseball games out this year, and it is far from being the best one with its visual and gameplay issues. Many have noted that it has a lack of polish, depth, and much more that competitors are providing, leaving RBI Baseball 21 quite a ways behind. You'd think that when it comes to sports games, that it would be easy not to screw it up. After all, it's sports. They have a very simple set of mechanics to follow. But this shows that if you don't play the development card right, you're going to make a game that no one wants to play. Number 4. Demon Skin. Demon Skin is a hack-and-slash title with unique combat elements, RPG mechanics, and fighting game mechanics. While this sounds decent on paper, awful controls combined with boring gameplay and poor writing and voice acting put the game among the worst of the month. Some have even said that this story honestly feels like something written by an edgy teenage boy, which, to be fair, could make a good game at times, but clearly that wasn't the case here. And it's always sad when you see games with potential, but they never get to live up to them. Number 3. Gods Will Fall. Gods Will Fall is a dark fantasy action-adventure game with roguelike elements. In this game, you are provided with a cast of 8 characters who must destroy their gods who have been poisoned by the lust of power. Unfortunately, a frustrating live system, clunky combat, and unfair elements hold the game back. And when you literally have to go and say that a game is unfair, yeah, somebody did something wrong. Because while a game can be challenging yet fun, like Dark Souls, the moment you lose that balance, you lose the trust with the player itself. Number 2. Stitchy in Tookie Trouble. Side-scrolling platformer games have made a bit of a comeback in recent years, but Stitchy in Tookie Trouble isn't one that supports this comeback. Despite being a nice gateway into the genre for younger players, a lack of originality and difficulty along with a floaty jump hold the game back. Now, some would argue that originality in a video game like this isn't exactly a requirement. But don't lose the message here. We've seen games like these thrive in originality to set them apart from others. That's the point. This one just didn't seem to get that message. Number 1. Balan Wonderland. Easily what many consider the worst game in 2021, Balan Wonderland went from being a curious game by the team behind the Sonic franchise, which may have been our first clue to something we realized all too late, and seemed to have a feeling of the cult classic game Nights. However, when the first demo for Balan Wonderland came out, it became perfectly clear that this was nothing like anything. And that was all bad. The story is completely nonsensical. The mechanics are all tied to one button, which doesn't help when you're supposed to be doing multiple things at once. There are multiple costumes that you earn throughout the levels, and yet you can only carry 3 at a time. And if you need a specific one, you have to go all the way back through the levels to get it, and so on and so forth. The game is also buggy as all get out, continuing the trend from 2020. And as such, fans and critics alike panned it. And if you do want to say something good about it, you honestly need to look really hard. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the video games that have come out so far this year, and yet haven't reached the mark that they could have or should have? Are you shocked that so many bad games came out this year so far? Do you think that there are other terrible titles coming out this year? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.